Hi everyone, welcome to Lilybug's Library. My name's Linda, and we are on our last day of our Advent tea calendar. So, uh, it's been an adventure, right? So we had some more technical difficulties. I think we finally got this figured out though. Turns out there's a sneaky little folder where they put all the videos that I've done, even though I'm telling them not to save them. So found that, cleaned that out. Hopefully that takes care of it. We'll see. So I did do this a couple of times already. So I can't actually taste the tea in front of you, but we'll talk about it. So it came out of this last one, which is a little stocking. And see, I think I put the tea information back in there. Yep, I did. No, I didn't. Okay, where did I put it? Was it that one? Nope, I don't think so. Okay, somehow, somewhere, I put that. Anyway, I'll tell you about it. So it was called, let's see, Tea's the Season. And it was chocolate peppermint black tea. And it says to warm and give cheer. And so it actually was quite good. It had stevia in it as well as chocolate and then peppermint. So the peppermint really came through and was really pleasant. And then you get a sweetness, but you couldn't really tell if it was from the chocolate or from the stevia. But either way, it was good. I would give it 5 stars. So we have that part done. So I'll just go over some of the things we were going to talk about today. I will tell you that it's this time of year, there's always a lot going on, isn't there? And last night, I don't know if you ever get this, but I call it monkey brain. It's when you lay in bed and it's like little monkeys jumping on the bed because all your thoughts are just everywhere. And I don't know about you, but it's never the thoughts. It's not sugar plums and it's not fairies. It's, what you did in 1985 and how you said something you change now and it's all that junk, right? So a little sleep deprived this morning, so bear with me. So we are going to talk about reading around the world. So I chose a book from each continent and something that was set in each continent and then went from there. So we went all the way around the world. So the first one was North America. And so it was called The Nurse's Secret. And it was about America's first nursing school, which was at Bellevue. And it was before then, I guess nurses weren't really valued and they didn't think that nurses really knew anything. So this was a school that gave training to the nurses in the way that Florence Nightingale was trained. So it talks about them having to have discipline and high moral character and all of these things. And so this woman goes to this school and she's not quite like the other people there and she doesn't really fit in. She has lived part of her life on the streets. And so she's seen people with diseases and illnesses and all those sort of things, right? So I don't think she's very squeamish about all that. But what happens is she sees that one patient has died and it seems a little mysterious the way that it happened, apparently. So she gets caught up in something and she has to decide between looking after her own self and making sure she doesn't get hurt and following the code of looking after the patients. So sounds like it could be interesting. So the next one was from South America. I had a bit of a hard time finding one for South America, which I thought was a little bit odd. Maybe it's just where I was looking, but a lot of them seem to be very much crime-filled in a way that I wouldn't be comfortable with. And then a lot of them were in Spanish, which and didn't have an English equivalent to it. And my Spanish is not that great, so not good enough to read a whole book. But I did find one. It was actually a nonfiction book, and it was called Inca Kola. And it's about this man named Matthew Paris, and it's his 4th trip to Peru, and he goes with a bunch of buddies, and it's everything that they experience, which apparently is everything from, bandits and riots and peasants and a whole bunch of stuff, and they keep getting caught in the middle of all these. So anyway, we'll see how that one is. It sounds like it could be good. The third one was Europe, and I do love a lot of historical fiction things. So this one I'm quite excited about. Now it's a couple years old, so you may have already read it, but it was called Codename Verity. And it talks about 1943 France, and it's occupied by the Nazis, and this British spy plane crashes. And not the pilot, but the passenger, who is a secret agent, gets taken in by the Gestapo. So it's all her trying to explain kind of her past and what led her to this spot, and basically trying to keep talking enough and keep giving the Nazis just enough to keep herself alive. So it sounds like it could be really interesting, and I'm kind of would really like to see kind of where they take it. And it kind of reminds me of this reality show that Wonderful Husband and I have been watching. So it was called something about special ops, and it was all these different celebrities who take this special ops training from actual people who are or have been special operations people. So part of the training, it was like some of the training was pretty difficult and brutal, but the very last part is interrogation. And I always thought that, above all, like, you never give away, anyone else or any secrets, and even if it meant your life. And that's not the way that they talked about it there. They talked about it like sometimes you have to, give up things to be able to stay alive long enough to be rescued or something like this. And it's like, oh, okay. So anyway, it kind of reminds me of that, and kind of makes you think that if you were reading the book, I think you would have a lot of thoughts in your own head about what would I do in this situation. And so I'm interested to see where that goes. So the next one was from Asia, and it's called The Tea Planter's Life. The Tea Planter's Wife, rather. So it's about this woman from English woman named Gwendolyn, and she's only 19. And this is in the 1920s in Ceylon. Now, I personally thought Ceylon was just a tea. I didn't really think of it as a place, but apparently that's what Sri Lanka used to be called back in the 1920s. So she meets this person who has a tea plantation, and he's a widow and he's wealthy. And anyway, she falls for him and decides that they're going to get married. So she's excited. She's thinking, like, I'm going to be the best wife, the best mother, blah, blah, blah. And they end up going to his plantation. Well, once she's there, she realizes something's a lot different than she thought, because there's like old clothes from his previous wife, and there's like a kind of covered over grave, and she's starting to wonder like how the wife actually died, and his workers don't seem to like him, and the people in the neighborhood don't like him, and so there's a lot of disconnect between kind of the way things started and what happens when she's there. So interesting to see where that goes, and lovely cover, beautiful cover. So I'm excited for that one too. The next one comes from Africa. So this one's a YA. So this one is called Purple Hibiscus, and it's about 15-year-old Kimbilla and her older brother. I don't know if you pronounce it Jaja or Yaya. Anyway, so they are living in Nigeria with their parents and living a very privileged life, right? They go to, private schools, and they, have all the best of everything. But their father apparently is a bit of a religious fanatic, and he's kind of a tyrant. So their home life is not that great. So something happens. The country starts to fall apart because there's a military coup, and the children get sent to live with their aunt who lives in the city. And they discover a whole new world because, she's got a house filled with books, and, like the city is, filled with things to do. And it really just kind of opens their world right up. So eventually they do have to go home. And once they're home, it really starts to all kind of crash because, their father hasn't changed and they have. So it's them trying to deal with all of that. So again, that sounds like it could be really good. The next one, I don't care for the illustration, the cover of it. I'm sure it fits well with the book, but it's just, when I look at it, it doesn't inspire anything in me. But the story itself sounds good. So it is, and Oceania is Australia, New Zealand, and the Pacific Islands. So this one takes place partly in Australia. So it's again about a young English woman. I don't know where these young English women all end up, but apparently everywhere. So her name is Jean, and she lives in Malaya. And apparently, it was captured by the invading Japanese, and she ended up on a death march with women and children. Somehow, she ends up getting out of this with the help of other people, and she ends up back in England afterwards, and is living her life and trying to put all that behind her. She ends up with an inheritance and decides to make her way back to that area to try and give back to some of the people who helped her. But when she gets there, apparently she's in some kind of a desolate Australian outpost, and it turns out that there's something going on where she really has to draw on all the resources and the strength that she dealt with when she was going through this wartime trial. So anyway, we'll see where that one goes. It certainly sounds interesting. So I'm excited to see what they do with that. And the last one I specifically saved for last because it's Antarctica, and the book is called My Last Continent. So I thought appropriate. So this one is about, I don't think it's a YA, but it's about two people, Deb and Keller, and they go on this expedition ship every year and take tourists on there and look after them and all these things. And they've really built like a friendship, a relationship. And they keep doing this year after year, and they really enjoy it. So this year, Deb gets on, and there's no Keller, and she doesn't know where they are. She doesn't know, like what happened. So she's starting to question all of this, right? Like, are we really friends? Is there really, like just the way that you do, right? And so they end up getting a call saying that this cruise ship is sinking. And so they have to go and try to rescue people. And it turns out that Keller is on this ship. So it's all kind of why and what's going on with this and how it relates to them. So anyway, it sounds really good too. So I was quite excited with some of those. It's I definitely could see reading around the world at some point this year, and kind of getting a look at all of those. So those should be good. And then I just wanted to talk a little bit about our tea journey that we took. So I've got this thing that basically tells all the different teas and a little bit about them. And I've been rating them as I drank them. So we're going to go through that just a little bit and see kind of where we ended up. So I went from 1 star to 5 stars, 5 being the best. No 1 stars on here, so that's good. There was nothing I really hated. Got a few 2 stars, so let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 2 stars. So not too bad. 3 stars, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 3 stars. Which is, that's just kind of like, yeah, it's good. And then 4 stars, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that's good. That's 4 stars is a really good rating, I think. And then 5 stars, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. I just see 4. So 4 5 stars. So not bad, really. I mean, for a tea calendar, I think we did pretty well. I haven't been looking at this a lot because it told every day is tea, and I didn't really want like advance notice. I didn't want to see. So just kind of started looking at it today. And so some of it was kind of a little bit of interesting thing that they put in here. And whoever kind of made this part of it, I think did a really good job. For instance, let's see, royal tea that we drank, it was Darjeeling and lemon blend. That's a recreation of Queen Victoria's favorite tea. So that's kind of cool. And then, different cute little things like Moriarty was a smoky and brandied sip that will bring out the mastermind in you. Let's see, what was another one? Mantilorian, a ginger peach green tea that is Grogo approved. So that was cute. the butterbeer one. It was a magical blend that brings out the inner wizard in you. So yeah, whoever did it, they did a really cute job with it. So that is the end of our tea journey. It's been fun to do. I have to say though, big props to people who do a daily video every day because it's a lot. I mean, I love hanging out with you guys, but you don't realize how much how time consuming it is to do it every single day. Every week or two, not so bad, but every day, like I said, props to people who do that. So really enjoyed it, and I wish everyone a Merry Christmas that celebrates, or if you're not celebrating Christmas, then, Happy Yule, happy long weekend, whatever it is for you. I hope that you've had fun watching these, and as much fun as I've had doing them. Wasn't always perfect, but we had a good time. So I hope everybody has a wonderful day, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.